Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my ambition.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Hello. I know, right? It's like,
You're
oh
going
dear.
extra weird
I
this
know, I
week.
know. I'm working on it. I'm working on it being normal. It might take me a little while. But welcome back, guys. It's Tiffany and
Alex. Hi, everyone. It's my ambition.
hello, hello, hello. So I think this week will be a slightly different type of episode. We recently took a trip away, so we want to kind of talk about that, delve into kind of the joys and the just the fun around coming together with other people. And I think even though this podcast is about mothers and ambition, I think there is that element of creating bonds and friendships and relationships that is key part of helping
Yeah.
us, to thrive as mothers. So yeah.
And I think as well, for me, like taking that downtime to recharge your batteries, spending time with people who help you charge your batteries, that let you just relax and be yourself. And how that can like energize you to really re-engage with work and feel excited like once it's over with.
Definitely. I'll let Alex go into detail, like, in terms of numbers of people, look, kind of a bit about like the friendship groups that, came together for this one.
Yeah, okay. So it's a big group of people. So I've actually decided I'm going to start running my own travel agency, and it's called Alex Excursions.
Love. You're good with names, my ambition, Alex.
Because so I can be a bit of a control freak about stuff like this. Part of my job is organizing events as well. So that bit of things comes quite naturally to me. We went to stay in a really, really big, beautiful house that's normally B&B, with a group of, I think in total there were 37 people, but 3 of those were babies. So yeah, 34 proper, like functioning humans who can talk, I guess.
I'll reserve my judgment.
Ranging from, I think I thought for a
Six
horrible
months.
second there I was the
Months.
oldest, but I wasn't. Um,
No, I think
and
Mark in that group would have been.
no,
Oh,
Logan would have been
how
the
old is he?
oldest.
40.
42.
Oh, so 6 months. Is it the youngest was 6 months?
6 months to 42 in that
Yeah.
group.
Wow.
There were 28 adults, I believe, and the rest were children, with a big age range. There were some who were like nearly 15, I think. The 2 older boys, I think one of them's nearly 15. So a really, really big group of people, lots of kids to look after. And this friendship group, so I have known these people like some of them longer, but some people for like 20 years. We first went away as a big group like this when we were 17. And we also went to the lakes and we stayed in a big house there. And my parents had
Yeah.
to get the keys because we weren't old enough to be renting it out. So they drove us there, arrived, and sort of
No,
didn't lie. But
that.
did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
They drove me there first and
Aw.
kind of gave the impression, without lying, that they were going to be in the house and it wasn't going to be a group of teenagers. And then they left.
I love that. I didn't know this. That's such a cool backstory.
So who would have thought that like 20, so we were 17 and I'm 41 now. So,
Wow.
it's more than 20 years, probably getting on for 25 years.
Wow.
And who'd have thought that all those years later that
You will be friends.
most of us would still be friends and that
Mm.
we would be going away with our kids. Um,
Wow. I'm so inspired by that. Honestly, I think this is one of the reasons why, like, we might with my husband and his group of friends, as you guys know. So Alex and Mark obviously know each other really well, and we're childhood friends. This is one of the reasons why I value his relationships, and as
mm,
busy as our lives get, I always value him like doing things with his friends. Like, I've always been like, no, go, I don't care. I'll look after the kids, because I just think it's incredible to have been friends for that long.
yeah, I mean, it is a big group of friends to still be
What?
together and friends enough to go on holiday like that. And you know what? I thought about it afterwards. It's very chill.
Yeah, this is it.
No
This
one
is
was
it.
getting on each
It's
other's
very,
nerves,
very
really.
chilled.
We could all just be ourselves. Like I went and got ready into my pajamas at one point and just came back to the bar in my pajamas, makeup off, because I would just, I feel at home with all of these people.
Yeah.
And we're booked to go next year, but with even more people.
Wow.
So I don't know. I felt really energized after the weekend. It was so much fun. We had a bouncy castle with the kids. I feel like Tompa needs a shout out because he cooked a hell of a lot. He did
Oh,
loads
yeah,
of cooking.
yeah.
He did that whole barbecue. He did hot dogs for everybody. He also made rhubarb crumble with rhubarb from
Wow.
his allotment.
Shout out to Comfort. Special shout out on my ambition.
Yeah.
You made it, baby.
And one evening, our friend Logan was like, "Should we put Ambition on in the bar?" And I was like, "No, let's not do that."
I'm thinking now, and I'm like, yeah, why not? Why not?
But yeah, so I mean, I found it super relaxing. It's a nice group of people to be around. And I was tired afterwards because it was a lot, all of those kids running around. But I think it's just really nice to be around people that you can just be yourself completely and just chill out and, speak up and have your opinions and know that people just accept you for how you are. And yeah, it's really good. Nice to catch up with people.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like I said, I came into this, I married into this friendship group, but I'm not, there's different friendship groups, but I definitely think you guys are like super cool and super like relaxed. I think that's what it is. It was like this sense of like, everyone's just relaxed. There's no need to like try and dress up or make it this massive effort and try and impress anyone. Everyone, and like I said, again, everyone is very like low, low maintenance. So it's like you don't have to like try too hard or like everyone's quite relaxed. It was really nice. It's like massive kitchen. We had this massive garden for the kids. It was really, really nice.
And we were going to record an episode of Ambition, weren't we? But we were having
I
too much fun.
I think that's what it is. And I don't regret that because I think even like, for example, I mean, I hardly took any pictures.
Yeah.
That much like just in the present and enjoying it. And seeing the kids running around the garden. I mean, my son like went to bed. I think it was like the last to go to bed. I think like 9 o'clock. He was just a little tyrant, but yeah, no, it was really good. It was such a nice break, and I think it was just nice to like spend time. And I think because with life been so busy, and we all have like jobs and children, I think sometimes you don't have as much time to spend with friends. So I think
that's really good point.
That time, to dedicate that time. This is part of looking after your mental health. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen, but recently there was is it a rugby player or who killed himself? I didn't quite see that.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it was just like it's a golfer. Sorry, guys, golfer. And you just think this is the thing about mental health. Like this is someone who seemingly has it all right in terms of success and a beautiful, beautiful fiance and what seems to be a lovely family. And obviously, at the top of his game in sporting, but still doesn't think life is worth living. And I think a lot of it is because we do neglect like relationships, or we neglect like looking after ourselves and spending time with like our loved ones. And I think often that's where we go wrong. It's quite sad, but again, it's just I'm glad because we've already booked it now for next year. We have that time like set aside. So whatever happens, we'll be there. Even if you have to come with a laptop, like we will be there. So I think this is it. It's just I think again, it's maybe a tip for people who are out there and your mother or your parents and you're trying hard to balance work and life. Just don't forget the relationships. We all do it, but I'm glad we have this like set aside and almost like a ritual.
Yeah. And I think as well, you're completely right that this group of friends, at one point in my life, I would have been going out with them like 4 times a week in the evenings. But my early 20s are in the distant past now. So you're right. We don't see everybody as often, especially now or more or less all of us have kids now. Some of us have more than one, and I think the kids are all at different stages. It is hard to keep those bonds up, but I think it's super important. And like you say, I think if you want to make things happen, if you want to keep those relationships, put it in the diary. And I'm living by that at the minute. So I am organising.
Oh,
Well,
yes,
I've
yeah.
already booked and organised next year. I'm organising a spa weekend for a group of the ladies for November, and
Love it.
I've taken on today organising my sister and dad's joint 100th birthday that's coming up this
Wow.
year. So she'll be 30, he'll be 70.
Wow.
Um, and their birthdays are a day apart. So then we're doing like a joint celebration. But yeah, I'm just going to organise it because I'm on a roll. I think sometimes with my ADHD as well, you get like into doing something and then you run with it. Like, you go
No,
a
but
bit
I love
crazy.
that. I love that. No, but I think it's it sounds like you're using your strengths though, because the idea, I'm not like the idea of, to me, of organizing something like anything like that sounds actually stresses me out. But it sounds like although you have a lot going on, you have some
Mhm.
sort of capacity or desire to do that. Like, guys, Alex had a spreadsheet. Tell them about the food spreadsheet you have.
I would say it was a Word document.
Oh, oh, I didn't see. Sorry. Oh, Word document. No, but like she even
Um,
organized the food and said, okay, if possible, you bring this and bring that, so that everyone can like work together to bring different things, and we can all
yeah,
like share the food. No, but I love that because
makes
that's
me sound really
detail.
controlling, and there is
No,
an
no, no. I
element of
think
that.
it's detail. No, but, listen, who cares? Like, I think everyone appreciated it.
Well, so basically, the year before, we didn't do that because I was like, oh, everyone's going to be really annoyed with me if I like take over completely. So I
Mhm.
didn't. We went the previous year and we all turned up. People had to buy food once they got there. Like, people were arriving and then driving off to the supermarket. We had, I don't know, 10 cartons of milk. Like, it was not very organized. And this year, I just thought, no one's going to do this if I don't do it. So I am going to tell people, like, I tried to plan out what meals we might do, what would be easy. I didn't want people like slaving away in the kitchen. And I feel like it worked better this year with people just kind of knowing what to bring. So I'll play that role next year as well, I think.
Yeah, no, but it's nice, and I think it's nice to have, like I said again, it's you playing to your strengths in a way.
Mhm.
'Cause-
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I do organize events at work as well.
Mhm.
So that kind of I feel like that comes quite naturally. So yeah, I don't mind doing it as well. I've had a few people message me and be like, you must be mad. Like,
Yeah,
why
I
are you?
think so. I was thinking that. So I was like, Alex got kids, like I was like, I was thinking to Mark, I was like, how does she find time to do that? Like, I no, I no.
It's just a few emails. And then
I
you
know,
like,
but oh gosh, it just
I
sounds.
feel like one of my other strengths is being a bit bossy. So I'm like, you need
Oh,
to give
why
me this much
not?
money, like, do it. And then, yeah.
No, but you mentioned a couple of things, and I think again, it's obviously we have that clubbing, guys. There's another like
Oh, yeah.
we've got this daytime clubbing thing in July, which is in my diary, which I'm excited about, and then you have that spa evening. So again, I actually want to talk about the ability that you have. I think we've discussed this before, to just ask people to do things. That is a beautiful like thing. Because a lot of people want to do things, but they're like, I'm not going to ask first, or oh, I don't know. But people will say no. So I love that you seems like you instigate a lot of things, which is great.
I just think so I think I want to do things. And I feel like if you wait for other people, they're not going to happen. Like, if you want them to
Wow.
happen, just ask people. And like, for that that daytime clubbing thing, I asked people if they wanted to do it. 10 minutes later, we've booked. I think are there like 12 of us going to that? Like, 10 minutes later, we had 12 people wanting to go and book the tickets and done. But
I love that.
if you don't put it out there, like, I think I also have, and this is apparently unusual for like a lot of people with ADHD struggle with. It's called rejection sensitive dysphoria, so
Oh,
RSD. I do not suffer from that element of
oh
ADHD.
my gosh. No, but
I never assume that people are going to like say
I
no or
know. That's interesting. Have you ever had anyone like say no to you in that way, or do you
oh,
generally just think, oh, whatever?
like, I can't think of an example, but definitely, like, there'll have been things I suggested. In fact, I suggested going to like, it's like a craft weekend in July, and I said, "Does anyone want to go to this?" And no one replied, and I was like, "Okay." And I just
Responded. No, thank you for the invite. I do appreciate you inviting me. No, but you know what I think? I think this might be a competitive advantage. I do think we all have some sort of weird competitive advantage that we don't appreciate.
Mhm.
And once you can understand what it is, it just means that you can be a savage in areas where other people struggle. So
Mhm.
maybe you have a competitive advantage in not being able to take things personally. Because
Yeah.
God, I mean, how much happier would you be in life if you ask people, "Oh, do you want to come to this?" And they'll know, "Oh, that's fine." "Oh, do you want to come to this?" And I almost I'm a little bit envious of that because I think I would probably struggle a little bit if I'm being honest with you. Um, my competitive advantage, I was thinking about it the other day, is I can suffer.
Okay. Tell me more.
I know. So I was thinking about it because I think we all have something. I always say this to Mark all the time, my husband, right? I say, you know what? I don't think I'm not the most beautiful woman or anything. Like I'm not the smartest. I don't consider myself, oh, I'm so intelligent or no, but you know what I mean? Like this is just me
Tiffany,
being
I think you
no, no,
need
no. I
to.
mean, just being no, no, not being like no. This is not me being critical. This is just a sense of like sometimes you have to find something about yourself that stands true. Like
I'm going to
no one can
interject to say
question.
you
No,
are
no, I didn't
absolutely
use that.
stunningly
I'm just saying.
beautiful.
No, no, I don't mean that. Like, trust me, I don't mean like. What I mean is, I don't go around in my head. I don't consider myself like, oh, this is my. I'm so beautiful. This is why or I'm the most intelligent. But I feel what I am is I am extremely resilient.
Mhm.
And this is just something that I like. It's a value for me. Like you can't question me that. Oh, if someone challenged me on that, I would be like, are you crazy? Like I'm super resilient, and I think it's just the more you live life, the older you get, you start to realize something about yourself that nobody can question you on. And I think
Mhm.
mine is resilience. I just feel like one thing about me is I may get something wrong or I may make mistakes, but when it comes to like giving up on something, I don't do that. And I
Mhm.
think it's interesting just to start to notice things about yourself that you can actually like own.
Mhm.
And I think
I
that's
mean
quite
that.
important as you get older to just know yourself, right? To know
Mhm.
things about you.
And resilience is an amazing skill to have. It's something that like people who don't have it naturally are constantly being told to kind of build up that skill
Mm.
because life can be hard. It can be full of
My
setbacks
gosh, yeah.
and perseverance is really like perseverance and resilience is really key to that because if you look at people who are successful, I'm thinking like I know she's got all of her like problematic views at the moment, J.K. Rowling, like, but
Mhm.
is arguably an incredibly successful person in terms of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But she didn't take no for an answer with that.
Mm.
She just kept approaching different publishers until it
Mhm.
was published. But loads of people would be like, oh, it must be rubbish if they didn't want it, and just not continue pushing at that door. And I think so resilience and perseverance is really key. It's about not letting go, not giving up on something. I listened to a really good podcast. I think I've mentioned it before. It's called the Liz Moody podcast. And she describes it as never being the one to say no to yourself. So, like, get out of your own way. Even if somebody else says no to you, you didn't deny yourself the opportunity. Fair enough, they might have done. They might have said, no, I don't want to go to the craft weekend. But I'm still going to the craft weekend by myself. And like I'll have a good time because I'm doing like classes in sewing and stuff like that. So um I think it would have been nice to go with other people, but I'm totally cool doing it by myself as well. So yeah, I think putting yourself out there, but also being able to take any setbacks. And maybe though, if you like so if you would be afraid of like asking people to do stuff, like how would that affect you? Like, would you be able to be resilient in the face of somebody saying no to you about that? Or would
No,
that be slightly different?
no, I think it's more just. Oh, I see what you mean. I think it's more. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's just a weird shyness. I don't know. That sounds.
Hmm.
I know that sounds weird because you wouldn't look at me and think I'm shy, but or maybe it's just. That's an interesting question. Yeah, I think it's just maybe a shyness in that area. I think
Hmm.
one thing I've recognized is that we definitely have strengths in certain areas and we're
Hmm.
weak in other areas. I think when it comes to building relationships and friendships, I wouldn't say it's like my strong point. Even though I'm quite good with people, I don't think I'm as good at like maintaining relationships. I think that's what it is. But as I get older again, it's something I'm working on and just recognizing myself. But yeah, I think it's always interesting sometimes just observe yourself and see like what you are good at or not very good at and just think, what do you want to work on or what do you want to just, let go? off as
Hmm.
well. But no, I think it's more just, yeah, I think it's maintaining relationships. I'm not very good at that,
Okay.
but it's
That
something I
surprises
just
me.
want to work on. Yeah, yeah. No,
No,
so
that totally takes me by surprise. And I can be good at it and I can be bad at it. Sometimes it's like situationally. So like if I'm spending a lot of time with someone, I'm really good at keeping in touch with them and things like that. But then I've got a friend from uni actually who is amazing at keeping in touch with everybody. You know,
wow.
like I really admire that as a skill in her, that she's really bubbly, confident, like amazing person. Has traveled the world by herself, and with a friend, but she would literally just go on like a round the world holiday alone and make friends, like friends for life. And she is so good at keeping in touch with everyone. Like she is one of the reasons that I see as much of like the uni friends that I have, because she's the one always like coordinating stuff. Um, so like I can be good at organizing stuff and like asking people to do stuff, but I think sometimes that long-term relationship, and I do have a ready-made group of long-term friends, so I don't know whether outside of that I sometimes just don't feel the need to like invest in a deep relationship outside of that. But I think you can never have too many friends, and I think every friend you've got brings a kind of different perspective to your life, and you can learn something from each of them. So I try and remind myself not to just be insular and like, because I've got a big group of friends, just look to them to like do stuff with. I will reach out to other people I don't know as well to try and do stuff with them as well.
No, I agree with that. I think as I get older as well, like I said, I think as you get older, you see life differently. Obviously, you appreciate that time is, it's not on our side, and you start to think about more about like the end of your, I do anyway, the end of my life and what I want my life to show for. And something
Hmm.
about at the end there's the friendships and relationships, like whatever material things you have, you can't take it with you, it won't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I am starting to think like that. But no, it's interesting, and I think I do definitely make more effort now when I'm out and about to speak to people, especially when you have kids. They have kids, but no, it's just interesting. But I love that this friendship that you guys have built over this period of time. I love that it's almost paying off now. It feels
Mm.
like it's paying off because this is a time where, like I said, a lot of people are lonelier. They're having families, so they're becoming more, like you said, insular. But
Mhm.
the fact that you guys respect this, it makes it amazing.
I feel like I didn't suffer, even though I had a pandemic. We both had pandemic babies, because we had, you know,
That's true.
baby groups were quite hard to go to. I know that we went to, what was it? Was it Zumbini?
Oh, Zumbini, yes, of course. Oh gosh, forgot that.
And
Zumbini.
that was when baby groups just started up
Started
again.
up, yes. You have
Sometimes
to
we
wear
were the,
masks. Yeah.
yeah, but sometimes we were the
That's
only
the new
ones
ones,
in that
yeah.
class.
That's true.
And I think that obviously would have been quite intimidating, somebody just going along by themselves. And I don't know that I didn't feel the need to meet that many other mothers, because I knew loads of other people who'd had children. So even though the pandemic was kind of preventing you from being in baby groups, we had one ready made. So it was really helpful for that. And we obviously Zoomed a lot and did loads of Zoom quizzes and things. But for me, I think the benefit is watching all our kids play.
That's
That's so
true.
cute. Watching them kind of make friends and, squabble with one another a little bit. But actually, they were all really good over the weekend.
They were, yeah. And it'd be amazing to think in years to come when they are hopefully good friends, they can say, oh, our parents to go away. Like imagine if that continued. But I
Hmm.
don't see why it shouldn't. I don't
Yeah.
see why it shouldn't.
Hopefully, they will like each other as they grow up. And,
That's true.
like my son's going to be an only child. So I think for him, it's just perfect for him to hang around with all of these
Yeah.
other children. And like he's been talking about the kids since we came home, like
Oh.
asking questions about them. And, you know, today he loves, my kid is sociable. He woke up today and said, whose house are we going to today?
Oh
Which
dear.
I'm like, we're not today. We're going to go
Yeah.
at the park today, but we're going to have
Exactly.
a chill antisocial day today.
Exactly. No, but it's wonderful. I think I definitely respect what I respect what you guys have created. And although like I said, I come into it, I'm grateful to be being brought into something like this, because I, like I said, we've got other friendship group of friends, and maybe they don't make as much effort, but hey, everyone's busy. I think, again, when people have been in a relationship for so long, they struggle to bring other people in properly, or they
Mhm.
feel like, but no, this is, it's amazing, and I do respect it, and I want to keep it on, especially for the children. I definitely want them to like build friendships with the children, and just think what a wonderful story it would be one day to
Yeah,
say.
definitely. Oh, friendships, they're just, you know, I think Eddie used to say about this group. So before we got married, he used to say, "Oh, you're a tough group to crack," because he knew a lot of us kind of independently.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
so he knew a lot of our group
I'm
of friends.
surprised about that.
And he felt like we were hard to get into if you weren't one of the original group. But I think
Okay.
we've warmed up to
I feel like
to people who are coming
I
in
think
now.
it's maybe getting older as well. You're less naturally less clicky and more, because I find that, I don't know. I mean, this is another topic for another day. I know we're running out of time, but I feel like as when I was younger, I was looking for what I could find in common with someone else to be friends with them. But I feel like
Hmm.
as I get older, um, I don't know how to put it. It's like it doesn't really matter as long as there's something interesting about them. I don't mind. I don't feel like we need to be the same to like get
Yeah.
along. It could be like, oh, well, that's interesting. Tell me more. And you're more, but I think you're more confident in yourself. So you're not looking for
Hmm.
sameness, or just looking for something interesting to talk about. And I would try and find it. I will
Hmm.
take the time to try and find in that person without feeling like they need to be like me. And I
Yeah.
think that all makes getting older like quite lovely, because it's just like, oh, you're interesting. Tell me more. Rather than, oh my God, you're not like me. Just don't go over there. Her hair is different. Oh, I can't talk to her. I can't
Hmm.
sit with us. That sort of mentality.
Yeah, I think everyone's much more chilled and relaxed about it now. But the one other thing I would say is, because I've known this group of people for so long, there
Hmm.
are a couple of people that I have like not that much in common with, but like we have a really close friendship anyway. But if we had met now, I maybe we wouldn't have clicked. But we've got all of this history that actually amounts to like a really solid, lovely friendship, even though we are quite different. And I think
Um,
that's really interesting as well. But yeah, I like it's a good group of people, and I've really enjoyed work this week, having had that downtime and chilled out and
same.
spending all that time in the sauna.
Oh, oh God, another topic for another day. Sauna. Gosh, love a sauna. Oh, love a sauna. But anyway, yeah, no, it's really beautiful. I think I know it was mental health week as well a couple of weeks back. So this probably has been a good topic. Just kind of talk about, the aspects of life that makes it wonderful outside of motherhood and, work, because there is more to life. So, it's very important to nurture relationships and to look after ourselves in that way and create bonds and nurture them as well.
And I think as well, the final thing from me, even though you have kids, it doesn't mean you have to stop seeing your friends. You maybe have to do it in a different way. Like this was a very different holiday with this group of people than the ones we used to go on when we were like 17. Thank God, thank God. But you know, we're there all together with our children, and it's much more sedate. There's a bouncy castle, it's all geared around the
That's
children,
true.
but it doesn't mean you have to stop seeing your friends. Your relationship, just make sure it evolves.
This is it, isn't it? I love that. That's a beautiful way to end this. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. It's been wonderful telling you all about our crazy fun trip. And yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Take care.